Peace, everyone. Welcome to Movie Innerstandings with me, Brother Low. Um, so, man, everybody got conversations already. Let me scroll down a bit and read. It's for yours. Huh? Of course, Sister Kashia loves the 80s and 90s movies. Um, Okay. Yes. Big combo. I already see. Well, peace is Deirdre. Peace, Sister Kashia. Peace, Aki Antonio. Um, so we are dealing with the movie The Game, right? And it's with Kirk Douglas. I mean, Michael Douglas, who is the son of Kirk Douglas. For those that didn't watch old movies, Kirk Douglas was in like Spartacus and whatnot, and they really resemble each other. They look just alike. Father and son look just alike. But we're dealing with Michael Douglas work, The Game. Yes, Kirk Douglas was a good actor. Yeah, he surely was. You know what I'm talking about. And The Game is a very interesting movie, and I saw it when I was I saw it when I was a teenager, a preteen, and I forgot that I even saw it until but I see this before, until somebody requested it, for the movie breakdown. But I've always found it to be a very interesting movie, and with this movie, we're dealing with, um, the main character, Nicholas, right? And his name, Nicholas, means, victory of the people, right? And he's an investment banker, and one thing, for those that don't know what investment banking pretty much is, it's it's banking in the sense where, unlike your commercial banking, which basically, takes deposits of the common people or the general population and funnels that into loans for small business. Investment banking is very different because it invests in big term or large term projects, in a sense where, they they buy up, bonds or stocks, and resell them to, investors. And in this country, investment banking was highly big in the 19th century, 1800s, especially when railroads was being built. So during that time, you had people, or companies, like Pacific and, Union Pacific, Union Railroad, Pacific Railroad, but they were on a race to, build the railroads out west, you know, um, instead of, basically on the East Coast. There was a big boom for, building the railroads out west, and then you had mining, you know, the like I say, the push file west. You had the 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 founding of, gold, like in, or oil, but gold like, in Indian territory or Native American territory, indigenous territory, and that caused a more of a boom. And coal, mining coal and things of that nature. Um, right, those railroad comes based off. Yeah, Union. Look, the Union. Union is still around. especially if you like live in my area. Um, there's Union. I'm so used to saying Union Pacific, but the Union Railroad. I've always lived around. They got their own little hub. Train station hub. Um, so yeah, they are still around. You just don't hear about them because railroad is not as big as it once was. Railroads at one time was a big means of transportation. Especially during the 1800s. It was the rave. The steam engine and the steam locomotive. And things of that nature. It helped a lot of small towns and things of that nature grow. But nowadays, nobody thinks about the railroad like that anymore. But yeah, those things are still around. Um, and let's see. Also, with investment banking. So what you know about investment banking is they invest in basically long term, highly lucrative and highly risk taking ventures. Or projects. What they do is what they call security underwriting, and basically security underwriting is they buy financial securities of stocks and bonds and things of that nature, and like I say, they buy them from an issuer and they resell them to investment groups or whatever. They're the middlemen. They the go to be between the investment groups or and big business or the big project owners, of that business. Um, and at some points in time, they have also been the middleman between national governments, um, and buying the bonds in that way. Peace chief, and investment banking has created long term family dynasties. Um, for instance, for example, one is the Medici's. They of Italy. Florence. At that time, Florence was its own free state, you could say, and the Medici's. They were the bankers of the Pope, and they were, funding, not only, big architectural ventures in Italy, but also, artists, Michelangelo and things of that nature, and one that comes to mind, of course, namesake Lorenzo di Medici, so also another famous family is, of course, this name has always been concerned with sort of conspiracies and things of that nature, but Rothschild, and one example of that is Nathan Rothschild. Well, when Napoleon was trying to go back into power with trying to get back into power, with France, and the Battle of Waterloo happened, and he lost. He lost the Battle of Waterloo, and the Rothschilds at that time they had a big um, courier service. It was very upgradable or very very better than government messaging services, right? So they knew that Napoleon's defeat happened, basically a day before, basically local, national governments did, i.e., Britain, right? So what Nathan Rothschild did was he bought up all the bought up a lot of British bonds or British debt, you know, because the next, once they found out that Napoleon was defeated, that those government bonds, skyrocket up, and so he resold it, for basically 40% of a profit, So that was one way, people make money and whatnot. But that's another family. Investment groups or investment banking firms or whatever you want to call them. Some that we know. One is Barclays or Barclay. Barclays, England. You got Citigroup. J.P. Morgan. Goldman Sachs. things of that nature. Those are investment banking. Um, Also, let's see. Do I got any? I got notes. Okay. Also, one thing, this is probably going to tie into the movie as well, um, because it was made in '97. So, what you're going to have 2 years later, is the repealing of the Glass-Steagall Act of 1933. And what the Glass-Steagall Act of 1933 was, it was saying that commercial banks could not trade in securities like investment banking. So they were prohibited from um, investment banking services. In 1933, what was going on in 1933? Well, the Depression. And what was also happening, a lot of, commercial banks was folding at that time as well, Um, Also, what was also happening was a lot of bank robberies, commercial bank robberies, but because of that stock market crash, it brought forth the Glass-Steagall Act. And then what happened in 1999? The repeal of that with the Act, Graham, Leach, and Bliley Act, right? So that's good to know. But just to give you a heads up on that. And a few things that investment banks do, they do underwriting of debt and equity and trading and asset management, right? So not my area, but yeah. But also, with the repeal of Glass-Steagall, with the Glass-Steagall Act, is you'll have global financial conglomerates now. A bunch of investment banking mergers and things of that nature. Like HSBC and Bank of America and J.P. Morgan and Chase, and the Deutsche Bank, Germany, things of that nature. They become global. It's just not a national thing anymore. They become a global financial conglomerate. Um, so yeah, just to get you a background on what Nicholas is doing. But peace, Sister Manera. But okay. Um, Say, why you hide cheese comments? It is what it is. So that's what he does. But being an investment banker is high risk, high rewards, very stressful job, a very long hourly job. You got to work very long hours if you're an investment banker. So Nicholas Van Orden, which just shows that he's of the you know he's Dutch, and in that sense, they got that band in there. Um, he comes from, um, investment banking family, as you could tell from the start of the movie, because his father was one. And one thing, you see as he's in his office, in the Van Horten building, he his secretary comes in and gives these invites, of galas and funds. He's like, nope, nope, nope. He doesn't want to do those things. And then he said something interesting. He said, "You don't know society. You don't have the satisfaction of avoiding it." You know, was basically saying you're not rich enough to avoid that whole wealthy world of society, where you have to schmooze or whatever. He's like, I ain't doing that, drunken talk and communication. I'll skip that. I ain't going nowhere. you know and what's good about this movie is that the simple fact that it's like um, you see a man's descent, I would say, basically going down to get up, you know. Um, and so, you see him, he's a very monotone, like drone type, figure, Nick, because he doesn't do much and he doesn't show any emotion. He's like a mechanical man um in this, and so, he meets his brother because, it's his birthday. And he meets his brother Conrad, and his brother's name basically means he's the brave or bold ruler or counsel, right? Which you're going to understand why he's named Conrad. So he meets his brother, and his brother gives him invitation for CRS, consumer record um, rec requisition recreation services, you know um and he gives them, he's like, Nick, you don't do much, you're pain, you know um in the butt, or whatever, and this is going to help you. It helped me, because his brother's like, well, what's, you need anything, you're wrong, something wrong, you need some medication or something, because his brother's, uh was once an addict, and he has issues, mental, psychological issues. But he's like, no, I'm fine. I'm doing this for you. Do that. So he gives him an invitation. She's like, yo, do that and tell me that you're going to do it. It's like, fine, I do it. I do it. You know. Um, but yeah, and then you see him, go back to the, exhausting drone like behavior. He constantly is watching like CNN and basically the business channels that shows all the stock and all the news about business and things of that nature. You know, and his ex-wife calls, and she wants to wish him a happy birthday and sees how he's doing because of his father died on his birthday and whatnot, and um his father committed suicide, right? But it's like, oh, I'm fine. He really, brushes her off, and she's like, no, I don't even know why I bothered, because she's, you know, um, married and also has her own family, but she still calls him, you know, on his birthday to see how he's doing. And he's like, I'm fine. I don't know why you bother either. He's like, bye, or whatever. And you see him go, to the CRS um, floor because he was already in that building to begin with, and the so-called VP of engineering, Jim Feingold, tells him about CRS, and he does a test and a physical, but then he goes to like his country club. Yeah, he was like, bye, Felicia. Goes to his country club, which he's a member of, and he overhears these guys talking about CRS, and then he, sees them, in like a gentleman's smoking room, or things of that nature, and he confronts them, friendly, buys them around the drinks, and wants to know, what is CRS, and then one of them says, John 9:25, but once I was blind, not no, now I can see, Um, and Nick's he then, later on he finds out that his application's been rejected. But that was all the rules, because then, while he's watching the business channel, he finds out, that the game has started for him, because he finds this, clown with a key in his mouth and things of that nature. So, he sort of brushes it off, In a sense. But all these things keeps on, these weird things, little things keep on happening to him. He's trying to, conduct business, you know, while flying, flying on the road with to meet a guy named Anson, and he want to fire him because the stock prices of that company is falling, so that comes into a problem with him and his company because his company stock is falling. One thing with investment banking, I know that reputation and prestige of that investment banking is very key. Because it secures uh, clientele and also shows the respect that investment banking firm, I would say, has, especially if it's been around for a long period, for a very long period of time. You think about, like JP Morgan and things, they've been around for over 100 years. So, they actually have a name to uphold, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, his inner competitor woke up. When he heard rejected, when he almost seemed to bore him at the point. So to hear no was like, huh? Exactly, brother Antonio. He's like, what? Me rejected? I'm rich. I do this. I do that, and I'm rejected. You know, and another thing, why he's taking that physical is very interesting. How how like he was doing the psych evaluation, he was doing the pictures, and you have to think of one word of that picture. And then when they like had the picture of the woman and the snake in the river, and he said risky, shows how he viewed the feminine entity as a risky thing. But yeah, um instead of dealing with inner emotions, she says. Nicholas replaced that with the grasp of all things material. He became a miser instead of embracing feeling and relationships. Yes, Chief. It's more to the example of Scrooge. Scrooge had all these, material things, but when Christmas come around, bah, humbug. That's what Nicholas is like. He has, he plays, racquetball or whatever. He has all these, material things. Got a big house in there in San Francisco. The property value of those things. Like he got the biggest, biggest house on the block, but he doesn't have any emotional ties. He basically drives them off. And even in himself. So yeah, yeah. How can you reject me? He didn't even know what he was being rejected from, and it bothered him. Yes, 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 yes. Exactly. But he also didn't know humility. No, he did not, because that's going to come. That's going to come into play into throughout the movie. So all these things are happening. Different things are happening to him. One thing, he gets wine poured on him by a waitress called Christine, who gets fired. And so he's given a message to follow. Don't let that woman get away. So he follows that woman, right? Um, and he gets trapped, in the elevator with her, and you know, gets chased by dogs. He's doing things that he's never. He's on fire escapes, jumping to garbage cans, and things like that. But after all of that, he goes into his office with her and cleans up. Got a shower in his office. She's like, you got a shower in your office? She's like, yeah. Oh, this was definitely a modern day Ebenezer Scrooge. So yeah, that's why we start with seeing how his in his everyday before he's given an opportunity to look at his life. Yeah, Yeah, and you see that with Nick. You know, you see his everyday life. You know, he doesn't take time to eat breakfast. You know, he drinks some. Thank you, Elsa. You know, he's done. You know, dinner's in the oven. You know, and what does he have? A big old hamburger and some fries. You know, things of that nature. Um, I like how he looked at the man having a seizure, like he had COVID. Don't touch. Exactly. He didn't know even how to respond to somebody having uh, a dire health problem, and giving them CPR. He like, what do we do? What do we do? Taking cues from Christine. Get help. He tries to call on his cell phone's not working, and then he has to flag down the police, because he doesn't really know what to do. He can do big business deals, but common sense problem solving, you know he has no knowledge of, everyday common things that probably, I would say, the common person thinks about doing. He doesn't have that at all, and you see that. So he is too removed from interpersonal relationship. Yeah, that's why I say he's like a mechanical man. He does not compute. Bed lying down, turning blue does not compute. Does not compute. What do Does error? He doesn't know what to do. And so, okay, he leaves his briefcase in the elevator, and so he has to go to the hotel to get his bank card, and then goes to a room and he finds his briefcase and it's filled with um, pornographic pictures taken, and they posted all around, then he finds out that he's being tailed by a private investigator, and then he goes to visit Anson again. It's like, you got something to do with this, you think this is funny. And then, Anson, who, is no longer serious, from the first meeting. He's with his family, with his wife and his daughter, smoking a cigar. He's like, I took your deal. I took your severance deal, and I'm done. And I'm happy. Smoking like I'm happy. And then he's like, oh, well, I'm that's one thing he doesn't do as well. He doesn't apologize. He's unapologetic. He doesn't know how to say, be humble and give an apology or whatever. So that's another thing, I'm talking about. And so that was I'm going sailing, brother. So he's like, I'm going sailing. I'm probably gonna go sailing, and my wife's gonna be naked on the boat. I'm about to live my best life or something, he's so used to dominating people that, like Chief said, actual emotions are foreign to him. Yeah. hmm So, after that, he goes home, sees his home is being vandalized, and he talks to his brother, and another case of situational awareness and no critical thinking skills is when, Nick and Conrad get a flat tire, and they're like, well, what do you do? I've never changed a tire before. I don't know what we do. There should be something in the back to help that out. What we gonna do? Call AAA? I mean, they don't know what to do. Where you and something like that, is taken for granted. I mean, some of us know how to change a flat tire. Somebody had teaches those things. And just something as simple as that. you know, changing a flat tire, getting the jack out, cranking up the jack, releasing the boat. Sometimes, you might have to stand on the dang on tire iron, you know, to turn the nuts and, take it off, you know, got use your elbow to take off the dang on thing, put the donut on, and, you know, things of that nature, It is interesting how they mirrored the clown's position with his father's suicide. His father committed suicide at 48, the same age he is in the movie. Yeah. Um, and I guess I would say to that chief, that's the role that Conrad Red plays because he's giving the wise counsel, I guess the counsel to his brother, like if you don't stop, Nikki, you're gonna end up like that. You're gonna end up like that. And I love my brother, my big brother too much to have him go the same route as my dad, whatever. So yeah. And then that goes into, um them arguing on the streets. Like, I'm sorry, I wasn't, the guy, you expected me to be, but nobody asked you to play that. He's like, did I have a choice? Did I have a choice? Somehow, know, um, peace out, Cruz. So yeah, um, and he chases Nick, chases Conrad down, the street, and can't find him anymore. But then, Nick crashes into a river. He takes a cab, man, and the cabbie jumps out because he works for CRS, and he jumps out the cab and crashes into the river, um, and whatnot. And because it's a game, and Nick realizes it's a game, he realized that he got that turn crank to crank the window down to escape the cab, you know. And then he goes back up to the CRS buildings with the cops and his lawyer, and then realize there's no CRS because look, the building looked like an actual building, but now it just looks like something that hasn't been used in years, whatever. Only emotion we really saw was anger. Anger, yeah, and you'll be speaking for my lawyer. He's always using, hey yo, this is my lawyer. I'm sure you two got something to talk about. Like his lawyer was this goon, his do dirt, type of dude. So, I don't gotta handle this. I get my lawyer to do it. So whatever. So yeah. But he talks to the cops and they tell him, well, besides breaking and entering, we really don't have anything, you know. And so Nick asks Elsa, the maid, um, about his father. And did he show signs, of suicide and things of that nature? And what was he like? What kind of person was he like? And basically finds out, he worked a lot, nobody really, you know, he didn't show any type of emotions, inner emotions at that. And, nobody saw signs of him committing suicide. It just happened one day, you know, or whatever. So, and I guess that's him wanting to know was was a changing point, because it was probably something he had a abandoning all notion of, he didn't want to talk about it, but now he really wants to know. So Nick visits Christine again, and they show to CRS shows up to Christine's house because they got it bugged, and he finds out that she was paid like $400 to spill wine on them and things of that nature. So her house is bugged. Nick basically destroys the bug, and then CRS shoots up the house. um, I find it interesting that the maid asked him why he was asking about his father. Yeah, like why you want to know? You never asked for information like that before. you know. Um, I wonder if his father's suicide was work related. I would say so. So shit, I would say so. It just had that type of feel, especially when she was talking about how he worked a lot. He really, and things of that nature, and being in that type of profession and industry is highly stressful. So of course, it can cause suicide. You know, you know. Look, stock market crash 1929. People would jump from the dang on buildings, bro. So I mean, that that can literally do it. So yeah, and so Christine, tells them that you know they go to, like, I guess you say, his cabin. Homie has a cabin. They go to his cabin, and he's trying to find out, if his bank accounts has been touched. So he calls, like, the German bank in Germany, where he has assets and accounts, and realize he doesn't have nothing. But when he talks to Christine and realized that he's drugged her, well, she's drugged him. She tells him that, oh, when you called the bank, you was talking to CRS the whole time. You know what I'm saying? You gave them, your passwords to your account and whatnot. And when I thought about that, it made me think of, like, today, you have all these spam calls and whatnot of people, or identity theft, where people, call you and say, oh, you got this, and through a sense of urgency and fear and emotion, you give them your passwords to anything, and then they have, um, they can rob you just like that, rob you blind. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, that's what happened. Then he wakes up in Mexico. He wakes up in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? In a dingy white suit, whatever, and he goes to, the U.S. embassy, asking for money so he can um, get back to the states. And the clerk is like, if you on hard times or whatever, or you having problem with money, and you got robbed or whatever, why would they leave, that nice watch you're wearing, which was given to him by his mother, this gold watch, and whatnot. I find it interesting that I already read that. I was like, yo, not in front of not in front of this guy. Well, wait till you're alone, right? This man calls can even capture your voice with a simple hello, who is this? Are you there? Exactly, Sister Kashia. Um, good one, very good one. So he's at bottom, you know, and he takes the bus, to get out of Mexico to the border or whatever. So once he gets back to stateside, he goes to a diner, and he just experienced some humility, asking, well, I have $14 and some cent. Is anybody going to San Francisco? Because I need a ride to San Francisco. You know, and this was in '97. So imagine where the technology is now. Exactly, it's '97. Nobody, the general population didn't have cell phones. You had to be rich to have a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? We were still on, regular telephones and whatnot in '97 and whatnot, and um, and we had public telephones, you know, Bell and things of that nature. But I mean, him just having to hitchhike, just to get to San Francisco. But he's experiencing, when you see him like on the bus from Mexico, he's experienced certain things he's never felt before, having people sleep on him and things of that nature, and having, he's in a truck and sleeping, basically in a flatbed or whatever. you know, just trying to get home or whatever. Then when he gets home, his house foreclosed. I mean, and then he has to jump the gate. You know what I'm saying? Usually, something that you wouldn't expect of the wealthy, he has to do. He has to jump the gate, break open, break open the glass, the glass door or one of the glass windows to the door to open the door and whatnot. He has to do all of that, you know. Like shoot, good old car phone. He was living, yeah. Shooting in '97. I was, yeah, the telephone right up the street. So your brother did this right exactly. You was the telephone. You know what I'm talking about. And so, he does that, and then he realizes that. Well, for that, he goes to see his ex-wife, who's pregnant, like I said, got her own family or whatever. Goes to his ex-wife and he tells her, asks if he can use her. He got some humble pie. He got to say, nah, can I borrow your car? She says, yeah, straight off the bat. And then he, tells her, I'm sorry, I understand why you left me and I resented you for it and things, and I shut you out and I apologize for it, and he has that moment with her, but then he sees that, the guy that was Jim Feingold was an actor. And so he starts to research, taking the yellow pages, you know, this is 97, so there's still yellow pages, you know. This was the break-in, the beginning of his personal transformation. Exactly, Chief. Exactly, because actually, you could tell that the ex-wife still loved him. I'm just gonna be honest. The brother Antonio. I swear that gun was open. He could have got his chick back if he wanted. Anyway, it is what it is. But now, so he goes on a fact finding mission to get that actor. So finds the actor at the zoo with his kids. But he gets the gun. He has a gun now. He has a weapon. Um, a 38 special that was in a book in his house, which was To Kill a Mockingbird. you know, I remember the movie because it had Gregory Peck in it. But yeah, To Kill a Mockingbird, and he says, "Hey, you coming with me, and we're gonna go to the CRS building." Finds out that CRS owns that whole building, and sometimes the floors change, but they own the whole building. So they go inside the building, and then they basically are in the cafeteria of sorts where they have all the actors, going over lines and things of that nature and talking and things. You see police and whatnot, and the old man's and whatnot, and then he even sees Christine, goes over, and he puts the gun on her and tells her, "We're going up," So they go up to the roof, and she explains that all this is not real. It's just a game, because she's actually scared. She's like, "Where'd you get that gun?" I'm like, "Where you wouldn't think I got that gun? Y'all didn't search that house like you thought you searched that house." So she's like, she told them on the walkie-talkie that he's got a gun and it's a real gun. And then every I guess the theatrics is like, oh, they're coming to get him because they were shooting at him, inside the cafeteria. And that's why they went up to the roof. And they're trying to open a hatch, I would say, because they gotta use a saw on the lock. Um, And so she's like, he's got a real gun. And she's telling him that, when they open those doors, they're going to wish him happy birthday because it's his birthday party and things of that nature. And she's crying and whatnot. And then they open the door. Jamie's got a gun. Exactly. So they open the door. It's Conrad, whatever. They about to say happy birthday. He shoots Conrad. Conrad falls over, dead. And, Christine and Jim are like, he's dead. I'm like, didn't you tell? Like, I told y'all on the walkie talkie. They're discussing this, and he just is just so in shock. He's so in shock that he does basically the same thing his father's done after he sees his brother lying dead. He goes to the ledge of the roof. Um, exactly, he repeats his father's history. He goes to the roof and jumps off. And then, as he jumps off, he hits a glass well, a glass roof, right? Hits the glass, goes through the glass roof. You didn't didn't hesitate. Didn't hesitate. I'll just bam, that easy for him. You know, breakaway glass. But there's um I want to say line, but there's it's not a pillow, but it's a big it's not a tramp. What they call that dang old thing? What do they call it? Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I always think that if he was to jump off on the other side of the roof, though, exactly, they probably would have had one of those. Okay, moon bounce. They had a big moon bounce, right? And he jumps, really catches him, you know. Yeah, the thing that he landed on, the thing that he landed on. So it took me out, but thank you, Sister Deirdre. It's an interesting tale of perceived riches. I think they named him Nicholas, in reference to Saint Nick. Christmas, Scrooge reference, and Orton means place, person of wealth. Yeah, he's a person of wealth. But yeah, it's like you say, it's a modern Scrooge tale where there's no Ebenezer. Well, no. Marley. There's no Jacob Marley. There's no Christmas or past, present, and future. You know, he basically simulated life is the teacher. Because that's basically what it is. This game is just simulated life, if you ask me. Where it's a life simulator. You know, and so he hits the his ass was I release you, Ebenezer, right? So he hits that, and he's like, take the time. You hit breakaway glass, but want to check that you're all right. And he sees that his brother's alive, and he says, "Happy birthday." Like I say, he's the bold counselor's like, yeah, we had to do something. You was being an a-hole all this time, so I had to do something to save you, man. He gives his brother a good, meaningful hug, and they big party, big gala event, I'm talking about big cake. Everybody's in tuxedos and whatnot, dressed to kill, and then everybody has, the typical wine and cheese white party, with the big band that ain't swinging and non-rhythmic dancing. you know yeah, you could say his brother was the first ghost. You could say his brother was the first ghost. Christine was another, and then possibly Jim Feingold, the actor, he was another one. you know um Shout out to Kimberly Wakefield, the the black secretary. I remember her in Ghost. Oh, cute big lip smile. She just cute button nose. I just had to give that one because I was like, oh, ain't that girl in Ghost? You know, the eldest daughter. She always had a big cute smile. Anyway, um, yeah, I thought Conrad was Fred in a Christmas Carol story. Okay, well, let's see. I can see that because, like Fred was the sort of a wise counsel where he didn't hold no grudges between, his uncle and he wanted him to join him for, and his wife, for Christmas dinner, and he was like, I'm happy about Christmas. God bless it, and whatnot. So yeah, I can totally see that reference sheet for sure. So yeah, he has a part, and he's cool. Like I say, it's a story of going down to get up. So now he's a little bit relatable. He meets his ex-wife, and thank you for coming and whatnot. And then, like I say, he could have got that chick back because she kissed him on the lips. You don't kiss your ex on the lips. Like she gave him a pretty long kiss too. Just say happy birthday. I was like, bruh, you still got a man if you want him back. I mean. She doing that while she pregnant. I mean, hey, I don't know. She could be going. She try probably make her way back in. I don't know. But anyway, so that happens. He talks to his brother. They talk about the bill and yeah, too chummy. They were too chummy, but hey, yo, exactly, brother. It's on them like her husband is right there, and she did all, disrespected. She going. She know who her real husband is. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just saying. She know that's her man. She already know. But yeah, I knew that when she at the start of the moon when she was calling. That's no call. But she was calling, and the way she sounded on the phone had that sexy voice like, how you doing? That low tone yeah. you know. Where we living off alimony. Yeah. He know not to disrupt the fuzz. Of course, he got he wearing that green hat, like they say in China. When you wear a green hat, it means that you're being a cuckold. Things like that. So you wearing that green hat for show. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, she had the bedroom voice going on. So I was like, yeah, she still cares. she still loves him. But you see that, and then he enjoying himself, joins party. So he goes outside to find Christine, and then finds out that her real name is Claire. And then what does he do? He asks Claire out. You want to go get some, get something to eat or dinner when you're done, acting, And she says, well, you want to go, get some coffee at the airport, And I guess he's going to say yes, but then that's the end of the movie. So yes, um, this, like I said, this was a interesting movie. Like I say, on a descent to get up or to resurrect oneself from the mind, soul, or drone its robotic life of material wealth, um, per se, and extreme workload. With what investment banking entails. So that's why this was a good movie, and I'm glad it was recommended. Because it had me delve into what really investment banking was. Because I heard the name, but I never really paid attention, and unless you saw like what was those movies? Well, one is Wolf of Wall Street, but what was the other one? Because it should have also had Michael Douglas. He played some good businessmen. But I forget because No, I can't remember. But I thought it interesting that the lawyer didn't know. Right. He didn't know. I would have figured he would have been in on it. Yeah, I can see that. What's her name? Reveal a nod um to the sense of clarity. I would say so because she was bringing some clarity into his life. You know what I'm saying? You know, this guy that, 48 ain't talked to no woman. And all of a sudden, this woman comes into his life and, he wants to date again. So yeah, I can say that. He probably he probably would have advised him against it for preventing this information. True, true, Sister Deirdre. You know, he probably would have. But it depends on the way they seem. It seems like they had a personal relationship. So therefore, because what came to mind was when he says, tell me you're okay, and I'll believe you or whatever. Just tell me you're all right. That showed a personal relationship. So he could have still been in on because he has apparently a deep personal relationship with Nick. You know what I'm saying? Yes, but she is stuck in the world of pretend. Yeah, that's how she makes a that's how she makes a living. But she couldn't give her own home origin point. Yes, because she's so used to being a face dancer. Having many faces, but hey, that's what he chose. Uh, if anything goes wrong, he can still have his ex-wife or any other chick for that matter. But it is what it is. She basically forgot where she was from because she's so used to lying. Basically, she's a pathological liar slash actress. Then makes you think of what acting really is. you know it makes you think of what acting really is. You know, if she's an actress and she can't even she's so enthralled into those characters, she can't even remember where she's from or who she actually is. You know. um I used to I used to date this actress at one time. And watching her act, I used to be like, you're a good actress, but you suck at life. Like you're believable, when you're on that stage, but you suck at life. I can't believe I actually, but that was my thought when I actually saw this chick act. I was like, you're good on stage, but you suck at life. You can't act in life, even if you wanted to. So, but that sometimes got me to think on what acting really was. Sometimes a good con takes believable acting. So much so that you have to actually be that person. You know what I'm talking about? So, if you watch some of those type of movies, you know what I'm saying? um, that's the thing, she represented the living that he once was afraid to do. Exactly. She knew about fire escapes and CPR and things of that nature. She was trying to get him back to the world of the living. I think that brings that clarity into it. Even if she was the actress or I say a trickster. She was tricking him to not go away from life, but bringing him to actual living and life. To rejoin the world of the living. Tricking him to they were all tricking him to join the world of the living. Yeah, his heart was transformed. Yeah, saw a girl, he liked her. Want to go get some something to eat, just like that. That heart transformation just gave him the confidence, just ask the girl out, you know, not afraid of rejection, nothing, just asked her out. And then, at least in that instinct, it felt like, as they panel around, Nick, it felt like he was on top of the world at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like this whole endeavor made him feel like, man, Top of the world. I'm king of the world. Look at me, ma. Another old movie. Top of the world. Made it, ma. Top of the world. Anyway, but yeah, could it also be said that he represented stability and security that she would have yearned for? No, I would say he does not represent stability and security because one, he's in a volatile business. Nothing is really stable and secure. And so how can you be stable and secure when you're so rigid and drone like? That's that's probably why his ex-wife left, because she didn't feel secure and stable. He shut her out of everything. That shows that he's not stable and he's not secure. You know, so you can't say, basically that he represented stability and security because he can't even problem solve for himself. He can't even problem solve for himself. He can't even change a dang on tire. Yeah, he has money, but he's not even stable enough to do a menial task like change a tire or CPR. Clear the clear the mouth. Are you okay? Are you okay? Check around the body. Things of that nature. See if there's any wounds. You know, pinch the nose, breathe in, 1, 2, 3. Things like that. He can't even do that. Guy's turning blue and he doesn't know. So I would say I wouldn't say that. God on James Caddy, white heat reference. You know, the Capitol said similar. Yeah, see, that's why I got it from Cagney. I saw White Heat. White Heat, Warren 20s. Yeah, he used to be a big shot. Cheap, but I love them gangster movies, But Cagney, the short guy, used to do these gangster movies, cool, him and Bogart, and whatnot. So yeah, black and white movies, some people don't like those type of movies. But yeah, black and white movies. That man needs to go shower and take a nap, sitting there worrying about the woman who was a part of tricking them. I was well, I would say this is 97. Dare I say it? I would say, nah, I'm not gonna say it. No, no, that's no, that's. Mm-mm. I'm not gonna say that. But he needed a good party to just, maybe some Leonard Skinner, whatever white folks listen to, and some Kiss, probably have Kiss in the background. I wanna rock, something like that, He needed a good, party, or whatever, and fellowship, whatever you want to call it. um, yeah, I was gonna say, okay, fine. Since you want me to say it, Sister Deidre, I was gonna say, look, there need to be some, there need to be some strippers on the pole at that party. I, I was gonna be as gentlemanly as I could, but you just brought it out. There need to be strippers on the pole and some rock and roll playing, because it's a white party. So in the background, So yeah, that's what I thought. But it's investment banker. There's some strippers, some cocaine, around there somewhere. We've all seen the movies, But yeah, Chief, Cagney and Bogart, cool, cool, manly type dudes. Even Cagney, who's short, what I'm saying. He needs a release, exactly. Um, well, Shorty, you're too short to be Bogart, not too short to be Cagney. Boom. But those type of black and white movies, you know what I'm saying? And where you had these strong, tough looking dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like you would believe, Humphrey Bogart was a gangster if you saw those movies, or even Cagney, like hey, we lived brought it out with two words. Yeah, I Low wanted to be a fly on the wall at that party. Him and Bruce Willis over there playing darts. I would not go to that party. I want to be at the. Let me see. Yeah, he's gone. I want to be at the. What party do I want to be at? I'm too young to be. I'm a kid. I'm too young to be at any of those dang old parties. But if I was grown, that would not be the party I want to go to. That's not the party I want to go to. But yeah, if I'm going to go to who? Okay, this is 97. I'm going to go to a Denzel party. The coolest old Wesley Snipes. I want to go to the cool guys party. That's where I want to be. I want to be where the cool kids are. So it'd be Wesley Snipes, Denzel. I want to be where those bros be at, because they probably be on some fly stuff, In 97, Wesley is still popping, Passenger 57, all that. Yeah, I want to be where the cool kids are. Yeah, I want to be. Who's gone? I thought of Sammy Davis Jr. I was like, I want to go to a Sammy Davis Jr. party because he used to throw parties, back in the day. I do know that because Diane Carroll used to go to his parties. But I was like, by way before 97, I think like in 92, he was already dead. So I way before my time. So I can go to that party. So that was basically an Illuminati party. Shoot, 97. You should still party with Prince, Michael Jackson, or Rick James. Rick James gonna have. We already know what Rick gonna have, right? I think that's the party you want. Rick, we already know what Rick gonna have at this party. Michael. He a little, but you know what? I'll probably go just to talk, that Gary, Indiana, stuff with him, probably because of that. But Prince, man, I'll probably, he'll probably have Morris Day there. It'll be a party. That'll be a party. I can believe that. That'll be a party like, oh man, they get it. Doing the bird and everything. Prince's party probably be the livest one. We already know. Prince is probably gonna be the livest one because he probably gonna have a live band, and you probably go, you probably gonna get on stage, So that probably be the livest party, out of all of them. Michael ain't gonna have, a live party than Prince. That's my belief. I believe Prince, but if he's throwing a party, oh, it's going down. A Prince party? Going to Prince party? Yeah. Exactly. Prince gonna have all the ladies because he's the purple pimp. So I want to be so yeah, I'll probably go to that party, So yeah, that's my belief. I go to the Morris Bay and at the times party before Prince. Prince would be playing classical stuff. Morris in there screaming like a hog and wearing yellow zoot suits. I agree. Hey, Chief, I love zoot suits, right? So I would have been at that party too, because I had this black pinstripe zoot suit. Man, I was so happy because I wanted to I wanted to be like Detroit Red, what I'm talking about. So I got me, I used to see the old pictures, of him in his zoot suit. So I wanted to have a zoot suit, and whatnot. I couldn't cut my hair, but I tried, with the blue magic grease, and I have my zoot suit on, and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it, Them get the chain, I feel like I'm in, Depression era Roaring 20s, with Cab Calloway, So give me the wide brim and whatnot, and I'm doing it, So yeah, I will be at that party too because I like zoot suits, Prince will probably kick everyone out when he gets the inspiration to write a song. Yeah, Morris and Rick would be partying like fucking straight. Although Rick might not let you go. Exactly. It's like, okay, I'm ready to go. He's like, no. I can't say what. Like, no, you can't go. Because I'm Rick James. But I say we party for 4 days. We party for 4 days. Oh, yo, couch. You know, like, but it's sun outside. We got to go to work. No, we partying. And that is cold blooded. You know, stuff like that. You know, celebration. Celebration. Oh, you don't want to go, you want to go home? I ain't gonna say it, but go ahead and have sex, but I'm Rick James, it is what it is. But yeah, you know, we all want to party with the cool kids. So yeah, we don't want to it disrupt Prince's flow if he gotta write a song, even if it's to the party, we just gonna have to go home. Purple pimpers for me. Yeah, see, you know. But yeah, so this was a very interesting movie, and man, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. So next strong, we will be doing Jurassic Park, which is on HBO Max, which we're going to delve into, a little bit of the scientific. That was pretty much the reason why I picked that one. So we're going to go into that because basically because I wanted to do that when she was talking about gene splicing and whatnot. So I was inspired to, basically choose that movie, why the trilogy is out. So especially the first one, the 2 and 3 I never cared for. So, but the first one, yeah, it goes in Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park #1. Sister Kashia. Jurassic Park, not 2 or 3, just the first one. We just dealing with the first one. But yeah. So we're gonna deal with Jurassic Park. We're gonna go to Jurassic period. For those that don't know, there are many periods of that time, and Jurassic is one of them. You're gonna see some Brontosauruses and Tyrannosaurus Rex and Dilophosaurus and things of that nature. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum, Jurassic Park. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's what's happening next strong. So get ready for that. Oh, it's your favorite? Yeah, it was a big movie, for that time. But it was cool. You had Sam Neill and like I said, Jeff Goldblum and whatnot. Samuel L. Jackson. He doesn't play the loud black guy, but he's there, or whatever. So yeah, that's what we're getting into. Yeah, because of Jeff, to be honest. Got you. Um, yes, he was the best character. Yeah, he was the best character. I definitely agree with that because he says a lot of truths in them, or a lot of things in that with his character that really hits in the movie. So, and yes, I would say that as well, brother Antonio, that the T Rex was the best character because it was eating everybody. But then again, I like Velociraptors, bro. I like them Raptors. Before they became, a basketball team and all that whatnot. They just seem more interesting to me. How these hunters, everybody likes the big dinosaur, but not the 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 predator. The actual predator that jumps. These birds of prey. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah. Now Rick will let you go home unless you can rap all the words so you can't touch this. And then He'll probably not let you go home because you don't know the words to you can't touch this. Exactly. See? Don't rap the words to you can't touch this. Oh, you don't know the words. You know the words. Rick James, you can't go home. It's like, but I know it's Hammer, Oakland cat. I know words. you know, he just got that from me because I'm Rick James. Whatever. you know, Jeff Goldblum is always an indication that you're about to watch something great. He's a hellified piano player. He's an official artist. I didn't know he played the piano, Chief. Well, thanks for saying that. Um, yeah, I have a jazz album on my. Oh, really? You got a jazz album? Who knew? I didn't know that. Give thanks. Emma Precious. My name is Precious. You know. So he hated him until he saw those checks coming in. Exactly. Yeah, that was little MC Hammer was man. Shoot, still the only rapper I know that did a performance with Dang on James Brown, and it came on HBO. You can't even find that no more. You can't even find it on HBO Max. But I do remember him performing with James Brown, on HBO. you know. But yeah, them checks, bro. I have heard his music. I didn't realize it was him. I thought it was a musician that happened to have the same name. I'm gonna have to check that out. I just learned about that the other day. Saw him playing Just a Friend for Bismarck. Oh, okay, for sure, for sure. So that's what we're doing next, strong. So, shout outs Sister Deirdre. She also had a live earlier, like 2 hours earlier. She was interviewing Dr. Amina Ali, which was very insightful. They talking. I honestly liked when they was talking about research and data and analysis and things of that nature. Made me feel like I was back in college. And Dr. Amina was like, "What about professors?" Driving that home, what I'm talking about. And then they were talking about sovereignty, and things of that nature, which was very important because sometimes that's how scammers get you. They talk about the sovereignty, but they don't actually have the information. So it was good that she actually had someone that knew what sovereignty meant and could teach about that. What I'm talking about. So yeah, um, we also had Sovereign Eats. Also do a live. Um, I missed it. But yeah, that's what happened today. And then, tomorrow, Chief, is doing a live tomorrow. So get ready for that. And so, I will everybody have, wonderful and fruitful rest of your strong. You know what I'm talking about? And I will see you next strong for Jurassic Park. So I will give thanks to everybody for coming on and showing in, showing out. You know what I'm talking about? And thank you all and give thanks and peace.